From the shadows of the cyberpunks, Satoshi gave birth to a new dawn. Satoshi with his vision, decentralization and proof of one, Bitcoin was born. You feel the shift beneath your feet. Hit up here, we break the blockchain, we meet. Trust in code, not in the state. We are all Satoshi, this is what we've all been waiting for. Together we trust, together we hold. One block, one chain, tick-tock, next block. Every 10 minutes, Bitcoin the path we made. Together we build, together we grow. We are all Satoshi, we call Bitcoin. This system's alive and we won't let go. Hey, and we won't let go. La-da-dee, la-da-da. Hey, yeah, hey, yeah. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. And we won't let go. Together we trust, together we hold. One block, one chain. Tick-tock, next block, every 10 minutes. Bitcoin, the path we've made. Whoa, the path we've made. Together we build, together we grow. We are all Satoshi and we are Bitcoin. Bitcoin, this system's alive and we won't let go. And we won't let go. From the shadows of the cyberpunks, Satoshi gave birth to a new dawn. He gave birth to a new dawn. Birth to a new dawn. From the shadows of the cyberpunks, Satoshi gave birth to a new dawn. Satoshi with his vision, decentralization and proof of one, Bitcoin was born. You feel the shift beneath your feet. Hit up here, we break the blockchain, we meet. Trust in code, not in the state. We are all Satoshi, this is what we've all been waiting for. Together we trust, together we hold. One block, one chain, tick-tock, next block. Every 10 minutes, Bitcoin the path we made. Together we build, together we grow. We are all Satoshi, we call Bitcoin. This system's alive and we won't let go. Hey, and we won't let go. La-da-dee, la-da-da. Hey, yeah, hey, yeah. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. And we won't let go. Together we trust, together we hold. One block, one chain. Tick-tock, next block, every 10 minutes. Bitcoin, the path we've made. Whoa, the path we've made. Together we build, together we grow. We are all Satoshi and we are Bitcoin. Bitcoin, this system's alive and we won't let go. And we won't let go. From the shadows of the cyberpunks, Satoshi gave birth to a new dawn. He gave birth right to a new dawn. March to a new dawn.
From the shadows of the cyberpunks, Satoshi gave birth to a new dawn. Satoshi with his vision, decentralization and proof of one, Bitcoin was born. You feel the shift beneath your feet. Peer to peer, we break the blockchain, we meet. Trust in code, not in the state. We are all Satoshi. This is what we've all been waiting for. Together we trust, together we hold. One block, one chain, tick-tock, next block. Every 10 minutes, Bitcoin the path we made. Together we build, together we grow. We are all Satoshi, we are Bitcoin. This system's alive and we won't let go. And we won't let go. La-da-dee, la-da-da. Hey-ya, hey-ya. Ooh-ah, ooh-ah. And we won't let go. Together we trust, together we hold. One block, one chain. Tick-tock, next block, every 10 minutes. Bitcoin, the path we've made. Whoa, the path we've made. Together we build, together we grow. We are all Satoshi and we are Bitcoin. Bitcoin, this system's alive and we won't let go. And we won't let go. From the shadows of the cyberpunks, Satoshi gave birth to a new dawn. He gave birth to a new dawn. Birth to a new dawn. From the shadows of the cyberpunks, Satoshi gave birth to a new dawn. Satoshi with his vision, decentralization and proof of one, Bitcoin was born. You feel the shift beneath your feet. Peer to peer, we break the blockchain, we meet. Trust in code, not in the state. We are all Satoshi. This is what we've all been waiting for. Together we trust, together we hold. One block, one chain, tick-tock, next block. Every 10 minutes, Bitcoin the path we made. Together we build, together we grow. We are all Satoshi, we are Bitcoin. This system's alive and we won't let go. And we won't let go. La-da-dee, la-da-da. Hey-ya, hey-ya. Ooh-ah, ooh-ah. And we won't let go. Together we trust, together we hold. One block, one chain.
Tick-tock, next block every 10 minutes. Bitcoin, the path we've made. Whoa. Together we build, together we grow. We are all Satoshi and we are Bitcoin. Bitcoin, this system's alive and we won't let go. And we won't let go. From the shadows of the cyberbunks, Satoshi gave birth to a new dawn. He gave birth to a new dawn. Birth to a new dawn. From the shadows of the cyberpunks, Satoshi gave birth to a new dawn. Satoshi with his vision, decentralization and proof of work, Bitcoin was born. You feel the shift beneath your feet. Peer to peer, we break the blockchain we meet. Trust in code, not in the state. We are all Satoshi, this is what we've all been waiting for. Together we trust, together we hold. One block, one chain, tick-tock, next block every 10 minutes. Bitcoin, the path we made. Together we build, together we grow. We are all Satoshi, we are Bitcoin. This system's alive and we won't let go. And we won't let go. La-da-dee, la-da-da. Hey ya, hey ya. Ooh ah, ooh ah. And we won't let go. Together we trust, together we hold. One block, one chain. Tick-tock, next block every 10 minutes. Bitcoin, the path we've made. Whoa. The path we've made. Together we build, together we grow. We are all Satoshi and we are Bitcoin. Bitcoin, this system's alive and we won't let go. And we won't let go. From the shadows of the cyberbunks, Satoshi gave birth to a new dawn. He gave birth to a new dawn. Birth to a new dawn.
Hello everyone, here we are again with our friend Marco Batistoshi. We are going to be analyzing all the things that happened in the Bitcoin space, in the treasury space on the week. We had the biggest news that was Jack Mallers stepping down from CEO as CEO of 21. We are going to be analyzing this. We are going to be analyzing Sailor, increasing strategies, cash reserve. So here I am. How are you doing, Marco?
Hey guys, doing great. Happy to be back.
How are you doing?
Doing good. Let's see what we have for this weekend.
Oh, let's see what we have. I want to start with something that all of us, I don't know if it's here, let's put this.
Let's see.
Jack Muller
of 21 Capital. Hey everyone, I have decided to step down as the CEO of 21 Capital. I wanted to tell you that myself in my own words because you deserve to hear it from me directly. When I helped start 21, I thought we had an opportunity to build something very specific. Not only a company built on Bitcoin, not only a company built with Bitcoin on its balance sheet, but also a company with Bitcoin businesses producing cash flow built alongside of it. That was the vision that I believed in. That is still the vision that I believe in. However, over time, it became clear that the board and I did not agree on the path toward building for that vision. Not in bad faith, not because anyone was wrong. The people involved in 21 are immensely talented and committed to what they believe. But sometimes people can look at the same opportunity and arrive at different conclusions as to how to build it. And that's okay. But something had to change. And ultimately, I made the decision to step down as the CEO and exit myself from the business. Now, I do not say that lightly. People believed in 21. People invested in 21. People believed in me specifically as its CEO. I understand that responsibility. I feel the weight of that responsibility. I know some people will be disappointed by this outcome. This was certainly not the vision that I had when I started the business as to how this story would end. Now, with all of that being said, and as hard as walking away from 21 has been, I know that it is both the honest and the right thing to do. It's the right thing for 21, the company. It's the right thing for its shareholders. It's the right thing for Bitcoiners, and it's the right thing for me. This experience in making this decision has brought me back to questions that matter the most. Like, why has Bitcoin been my life's mission for the last 14 years? What do I want to build? Who am I building for? And maybe the simplest but most important thing that I learned through all of this is that I'm at my best and my heart is most full and I'm able to contribute to the Bitcoin story most fully when I pour my energy and my blood, my sweat, my tears into building tools for Bitcoin and Bitcoiners, period. That simple. I want to be building for the person stacking sats, for the small to medium-sized business that's starting their own Bitcoin treasury, for the hodler, for those of you at conferences that run up to me and say, Jack, it was a podcast you recorded, or it was Strike that finally got myself or my family or my friends to understand Bitcoin, to get off zero. The person that's worked their whole life to accumulate savings and now wants those savings to be protected in Bitcoin. Those are the people that I want to spend my life building for. And to me, that's what Strike is. Bitcoin has a weird way of forcing clarity on you. It tests what you really believe. It challenges who you really are, where you may be weak. And it makes you confront what actually matters, especially when the answer can no longer be theoretical. And this experience has done that for me. I have never believed in Bitcoin more than I do today. I have never been more energized to build for Bitcoiners more than I am right now. I know the type of leader that I am and that I want to be. I know the type of business that Strike is and that I want to build. And I know the type of world that I think is worth building for. My life's work remains Bitcoin. The home in where I do that work remains Strike. I know what I'm building. And I know who I'm building it for. And I know why it matters. So thank you for your support this far. This story is far from over. In fact, in many ways, it's just getting started. So with that, I wish 21 and the team nothing but the best. And I am back to work, working on Bitcoin for Bitcoiners at Strike.
Well, that was the speech that Chuck Muller gave, announcing that he was stepping down from CEO position. What are your takes, Marco, on that?
I mean, hopefully for him, it will be an humbling experience, not to talk about other public CEO that already run multi-billion companies doing Bitcoin product and other stuff. Because again, the whole theory and the whole point of 21 and Jack was over the last 1 year that 21 will be the best Bitcoin company because they will do the best product built upon Bitcoin for Bitcoiners. And we kind of believed him over the first months. But then 6 months pass away, then 12 months and nothing happens. And that's the resolution of the whole story. So I think it's good for Jack. He started Strike. He's very passionate about Strike. I think Strike is a good overall company doing a lot of services, Bitcoin only specific. So I think it's very positive for him just to focus on this company because, again, it's not a 50 billion company. It's still a private company, pretty small compared to other, American style of public companies. So I think you just need to focus on that. And yeah, 21 for me was never clear since day one. I didn't understand if it was a conglomerate, if it was a mining company, if it was a financial institution. And being a mix of everything is particularly complicated when you have Tether behind and putting the money and wanting the decision making. So I think, yeah, it's sad for the shareholder that bought 21 because of Jack, but I think it's positive for Jack. I have no idea about 21, but I think it's a good decision for Jack to just focus back on Strike.
Yeah, I think it was a decision that was everybody seeing coming because of how things have been moving around 21. Obviously, also exacerbated in the last months when he started complaining about the other company on top of him, Strategy. So at that point, everybody else realized that there was something else happening. Maybe it was just frustration that he couldn't move anything on any direction for a year. So a better strategy, instead of watching the company on top of you, moving further away from you, you were trying to pull them back to you.
Yeah.
So that was the feeling that most of us watching this from the outside realized regarding this. Also, from the pure result standpoint, is the right thing to do. If you've been in a position as the CEO, as an employee of the company, and you didn't deliver anything, isn't that fair to just say, I will quit? This is what we ask usually in any other aspects of life, of business. When someone cannot deliver results, the best solution is not to fire him, but to realize that he must quit. So that's probably what happened.
Yeah, and besides of that, yeah, when he started 21, again, I like because Chuck Mollers is a Bitcoiner. Nobody doubts about that. But then, as everything was evolving, they never bought a single Bitcoin, while all the other companies were struggling in the middle of the bear market, trying to create new instruments to acquire more capital and buy more Bitcoin. Every company did. Of course, let's remove strategy from the equation because strategy is another kind of animal on the jungle, but Metaplanet did. Stripe is doing an amazing job accumulating more and more and more Bitcoin, creating the SATA preferred stock, and all the other companies, smarter web companies buying Capital B. Now they are gonna do a reverse split from 10 to 1 to attract more investors and buy more Bitcoin. Even small companies, that the one that we always speak in our Spanish show, and we have the podcast in our channel with the CEO, West Main Storage. All the companies are buying Bitcoin. And Chuck Mollers, the only thing he did in the last month was criticizing other Bitcoiners, other CEOs of Bitcoin treasury companies. So let me put in perspective. What Chuck Mollers did in 21 was the same as Argentina did in the final of the World Cup. Never shoot never, not even one shot to target. So I think it's good for him to step down as a CEO. Probably it's good for him, it's good for Strike. And let's see what's going on with 21. What do you think? Because Paul Arduino is behind 21. Do you think that they will change the strategy? They will start accumulating Bitcoin?
Yeah, to be honest, that's a good point. Yeah, I would say that Tether is backing 21. In the initial announcement, also SoftBank, but now I think SoftBank is out of the joint venture. So I would say now also Jack and Strike, because the intention was to merge Strike with 21. So I think it's only Tether behind 21. So Tether is the largest stablecoin issuer. They are officially located in El Salvador. So my point and my idea is that they wanted to have a big company also in the US to serve also the US customers and somehow try to find synergies with their own already business model, which is probably one of the most profitable on the planet. So again, I think they will try just to have some big account on Bitcoin, and they already have like 43,000 BTC. And probably they will position more themselves into this mining, revenue generating, and probably some other activities in that sense. I don't know if they will be able to do the Bitcoin backing collateral than the lending service, because if they don't have Strike, they need to acquire all the licenses, and we know it's a very complicated topic. It's very expensive. You need to talk with 50 different regulators in America, because every state has their own jurisdiction. It's a mess. So without Strike, I think they're not able to do that. So I think there will just be a big company with a lot of Bitcoin doing some hopefully good stuff for energy grid, for Bitcoin in general, but I don't see them particularly interesting, to be honest, at this point.
In terms of strategy, it sounds similar to what Linalden Company plans to do. Have you heard about Orange Juice?
Yeah, tell me more, because I saw this story, but I'm not really into it. What happened here?
The story was picked up from a podcast when Linalden explained that they created this new project called Orange Juice, and their goal is to create products and services based on Bitcoin and turn profit from these companies into Bitcoin in the balance sheet. Simple strategy, similar to the original idea of Jack Moller with 21.
Yeah.
But at smaller scale, they are not pretending.
In Brazil?
Huh?
Could be in Brazil, because I also see that it's backed by the billionaires. No, Mexico maybe. Salinas. Who's behind them?
I don't know about that. Could be. But don't confuse with the other Brazilian company, Orange BTC.
Yeah, true.
But maybe we will have to do some research on who is backing it.
It's back. Orange Juice backed by Mexican billionaire Ricardo Salinas.
There you go.
Yes, probably he is. We need to do more research and see how it goes. And talking about 21, we don't have to forget that they are the second treasury company with more Bitcoin in their balance sheet. So I think that they have to do some move, because again, it's not like they are Smarter Web company is in the top 30. They have more than 45,000 Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So let's see how it goes, and let's see how it goes also for Jack Mollers.
It will clarify also who is backing these companies, right? Because also with the case of Mara that we were discussing previously, that guy will not remember the name, the CEO of Mara.
Peter Thiel? No, Fred Thiel. Fred Thiel, sorry, Fred Thiel.
Thiel is the last name, but I don't remember the name.
It's not Peter Thiel for sure.
Anyways, that guy, well, there you see, Mara was holding, I think, 40,000 Bitcoin until they start selling it. And the original plan was to be this mining company who also start utilizing the financial markets to acquire Bitcoin, not only by mining, but by the financial instruments, until bear market hits, and then they switch the strategy into selling the half of the Bitcoin and expanding the business into data centers, which I think is the right move anyways. But now it clarifies who is behind. The guy behind that company is not a Bitcoiner. It's just what we call mercenaries of Bitcoin, people who are on Bitcoin just to make more fiat. So my only worry about that regarding what is going to happen with 21 is if the guys that will remain as leaders of the company are like this guy in Mara, or there are some true Bitcoiners behind.
Yes, I think so. Let's see how it goes. And also, I want to touch a small topic before moving to the next one, is Satsuma. Satsuma Technologies, the company I think was based in the UK, and one of their advisors was Mark Moss. This week decided to sell all the remaining Bitcoin that they have, I think 600 and something, and send the money back to the shareholders. Have you heard something about that? And what do you think about this move? Because it was promising, because they have Mark Moss as an advisor, a big voice in the Bitcoin space, and now we see another treasury that failed.
Yeah, I think it's once again reminding us that I think we have been pretty consistent. We said for more than 1 year that we have this podcast together that, again, having Bitcoin on your balance sheet, it's a great move. But again, it's not very reasonable to have multiple Bitcoin financial companies, Bitcoin financial engineering companies in every jurisdiction. So my point is, again, once we will see few companies in every continent doing the strategy playbook, it's more than enough. All the other will struggle a lot, and I think we're just seeing this phenomenon I'm playing. And again, this Satsuma, yeah, it was another tentative to gain attention, to attract capital. But again, if you don't have a real business model sustaining it, it's very hard to survive, because again, you cannot do what Strategy is doing, what Metaplanet is doing, what Strive is doing, what the Smarter Web or the blockchain group in France is doing. Those are the pioneers. Those are the first in their own jurisdiction. If you become as a third comer, fourth comer, fifth comer, what's your competitive advantage? What's your additional value that you bring to the table? So I understand these other projects like Linolden trying to have these companies try to generate cash, try to generate service and Bitcoin product. But if you're just a pure financial play and you're not the top one or two, the likelihood that you fail or that you're not successful, for me, it's getting pretty high. And to be honest, for me, it was pretty obvious since almost the beginning of the whole movement. So I think it's pretty normal. It's just market behavior, especially after 9 months into a bear market.
Couple of things. I think the decision didn't came from Mark Moss or
No,
any
sure.
other leader. It was a vote on the for the shareholders. So the shareholders actually vote to sell the Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So the question is, now we realize who are the shareholders of these companies. Are they actually people who have conviction in Bitcoin, or are just people who just want to make more fiat with some Bitcoin leverage exposure? Then regarding the other part that you comment, Marco, I agree and disagree in some parts, like the idea that having too many Bitcoin treasury companies, it's going to be bad because some of them will fail. I think usually Bitcoiners are simplified in if Bitcoin is one for a person, it's also good for a company, and it's also good for a country, right? Which is, you might have a company that is producing anything, a regular company, and then you hold the energy you store into Bitcoin instead of fiat, and don't do anything. You just run your own little business while holding Bitcoin. So there is no way in the long term that business fail, because it has nothing related to Bitcoin. And instead, Bitcoin enhances the capabilities of that kind of company. The situation goes on to what you say. If these companies are created to create more financial instruments, and in the middle of the market, they are limited by having that action plan. So that's probably the kind of failure that we see. I think still Bitcoin is good for any kind of company, even if you don't do anything.
Of course.
Like this other one that you interviewed, the West Main
Let me
Storage,
share.
that's just a development company, a real estate company.
Let me show you, because I love this company. I'm a huge fan of this company because, again, West Main. This. Let me share their Twitter, so the people who watch us. This company, West. Let me check.
Self-storage.
West Main Self Storage. This is. We have the episode.
That's an example of the underdog that you were discussing the other day regarding football. This is a real underdog, right? A little company with the right traditional running business, real estate business,
family business,
family business, and they just hold Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin whenever they can. So that cannot be bad. That company for sure will succeed if they have obviously the long-term vision, right? Because in the short term, if you have the pressure from your shareholders that saw the company being created, in the case of Satsuma, at 120K, and now we are at 65, and they don't have conviction, Now you have the pressure from the shareholders to sell. But if you have the running business, you have the long-term conviction, there is no way that these companies fail.
course. Yeah,
no.
I think that we need to separate, and I say, as Diego, I agree and disagree with you. I think that every company, every person, every country, every entity of the world, every football club must have Bitcoin. That's that's the problem is if you as a company have the capability to copy the strategy playbook. So not everyone, and especially on a bear
And you
market.
should not do it. For me, you
That's
should not do it.
That's the point. Why strategy can survive the bear market? Because they started buying Bitcoin 5 years ago and creating a lot of we say, I don't know if they say, if in English is they have a mattress, a big mattress where to rest. So they have if they we all know strategy needs to go, Bitcoin price needs to go to 4K and stand there for 10 years for strategy to fail. Other companies, that is not because of Bitcoin. It's because they started 5 years ago creating and engineering in terms of finance to do this. But not all of the companies are not in the same position. So I think that the model that we must have now is, depending on the jurisdiction. For example, I interview the guys from the Africa Bitcoin Corporation, that what they do is they get Bitcoin with their profits. They use Bitcoin to get loans at cheap rate, and they use this money to lend this money to local business that otherwise they cannot afford to capital. So I think that each country is going to have one or two big treasury companies that will take advantage of the characteristic of the financial market. For example, now we have the Argentinian one, Sonda Bitcoin Capital, that is still on creation, but I think that they have a lot of potential to get advantage from the Argentinian financial market and create products for the Argentinian financial market. But on the other side, the other companies that, okay, I have a running business that is generating profit, and I invest part of this project in Bitcoin. I think this is mandatory for every company. And once you have a huge amount of Bitcoin, you can start doing some financial leverage, but not immediately. You need to be like strategy.
Yeah, again, just to be clear, I think we are much more aligned here. Again, my point is, if you are a private-owned company, if you are a small enterprise, family business, etc., I agree with what Diego said, 100%. If you convert, as strategy was doing between August 2020 up until probably end of 21, maybe even half of 22. So you convert your excess reserve into Bitcoin, great. And you convert part of your operational cash flow into Bitcoin, because you say, okay, I know my general expense. When I already have those expenses covered, the rest can go into Bitcoin. For me, that's mandatory for every company. I agree, 100%. My point is, if you want to become this financial engineer player, for me, this window is getting almost closed, because you need to have minimum 10, 15, 20,000 Bitcoin. And again, what's the point of doing it if you have 500 Bitcoin into a small jurisdiction? For me, again, it's very complicated. Not necessarily you're going to fail, but the headwind and the complication, there are plenty of them. So again, for me, it's just easier to say, convert your balance sheet into Bitcoin. Don't necessarily enter into this over financial engineering, because again, once you have 10 global company or 15 global company doing it at the best level, your market share is very, very tiny. Again, you can do it, you can try, but if you fail, it's kind of normal. That's my assessment. And for normal people, if you have a business, just buy Bitcoin and live below your means in the sense of expenses, and excess just convert into Satoshi.
That's the point. And yeah, now I want to move to the next topic. That is another big topic of the week, and I want to hear your thoughts. Strategy announced on Monday that they increased their fiat reserve in 225 million Bitcoin, dollars. Now they have 22 months of dividend coverage, but the price of Stretch and Strategy didn't change. What do you think of this movement of Sailor of keep stacking cash instead of probably doing nothing and let the Bitcoin price going up?
Yeah, I think as a shareholder and many shareholders now, I think we are, for us, it's too much. We are on the threshold that is way too much. I understand the 12 months because, again, now Stretch is very important for the company, and Stretch shareholder are different kind of, with risk appetite different than Bitcoiners or different than the common equity shareholder. Yeah, I think 3.2 billion, to be honest, is way too much. I don't know if there is some kind of for sure they have information that maybe institutions, maybe credit rating agencies and other big pool of capital require them. If it's true, fine, but again, for me, it's way too much because, again, I think both Stretch and even more Strategy, MSTR, are derivatives of Bitcoin. So you can increase at this point. After a certain threshold, you can also double the USD reserve. But if Bitcoin stay at 63, nothing really dramatically change. So for me, it's way too much, 3.25 billion. I hope they won't raise any more cash just for this purpose. And they just wait in order to Bitcoin to recover. And they have a very strong balance sheet. And once Bitcoin start to help us again into a more favorable situation, I think all the metrics in Strategy will increase. The preferred will go back close to par. And also the MNAV expansion will go above 1. But again, I would advise, I am nobody, but if someone asks me, no, please stop with doing cash because it's more than enough having the 21 months that you, Fernando, said.
Yeah. We have the same impression that the 3.22 billion is already far ahead of the needs. But Taylor maybe has a different kind of information on the back end. Someone maybe asked him to have 5 billion. Who knows? I mean, that's the only explanation that I can find about it, right? Like Sailor received a request from someone who told him from the institutional side that having probably certain amount, like 5 billion, would change dramatically the opportunities of investment from the institutional side. Because so far I think it's still 70 or 80% retail. So that's one point. The other point that they changed during this week is they reframed the metrics on the dashboard. And we're not going to go through all of them, but just clarify how to look at this dashboard before, because this was also one of the complaints that we had before. When you arrive to that dashboard, we who are accustomed to watch it every day, we immediately find what we're looking for. But if you are new and landing that dashboard, you are totally messed up. It's too much data. So one good thing that they do now is just frame it. What is important? They put on top these 4 things are the most important. Then you can keep looking at other KPIs below. But the 4 things are basically the amount of Bitcoin that you have, 843,775. Then how much that represent in terms of fiat volume, $55 billion at the current Bitcoin price. And then they bring one of the metrics that was outside of in the previous dashboards, but some other people in the ecosystem were pushing for, like Alan Livingston or even the guys from True North, which is the SEBE, which is this metric, the third one that show up there, which basically discount from the whole reserve measured in dollars, the convertible bonds, and the dividend payments. So now you have the net reserve clearly measured there around 35 billion. And then how much in years is that reserve holding? So in case of strategy not doing anything for the next 32.4 years and the price of Bitcoin not moving, the company will still be functional and not bankrupt, right? They have the capability to pay based on the actual holdings and consider everything else frozen for 32 years to still being able to function, to pay dividends and to pay convertible bonds and everything else. Obviously, this is a hypothetical case that will never happen, because even if the Bitcoin price remain here for one more year, I'm pretty sure Sailor is going to come up with a bunch of new strategies. But it's just the extreme case when we push things to the limit to see where they break. But it will break in 32 years.
Yes, I think, and I agree with you. I think that it's totally nonsense have a bigger pile of cash that we all know that is a melting ice cube day by day. And especially, I supported the first capital increase or cash pile increase when I think that the dividends were, I think they have like 9-10 months of dividends, and the price of Stretch had dropped a lot up to $72 US. Then they increased the reserve up to, I think that 6-17 months of dividends, and the market didn't react. So then they increased a little bit more, and market didn't react. The only thing that makes price of strategy, Stretch, and all the other preferred react is the price of Bitcoin that Sailor cannot control. Nobody controls the price of Bitcoin. So if we saw the last week what happened when Bitcoin went up, strategy, the MSTR and Stretch went up. When Bitcoin went down, MSTR and Stretch went down. So I think that there is nothing to do to bring the prices up again unless Bitcoin is going up. That will go up. This is a matter of weeks and months, because I still believe that Bitcoin is going to reach an all-time high in December. So I think that the only thing that I would say, okay, is doing correctly if they do some buyback of Stretch and or MSTR in just to push the price a little bit up. But if I were one of the advisors, I would say do nothing.
Yeah, do nothing. Yeah.
Do nothing. We have a strong balance sheet. We have 22 months of dividends to pay. We increased the dividend, so I think that there is nothing else to do.
Yeah, that's the point. They already put in place all the tactical operation that they should, but then now don't overextend with additional increase of USD reserve or other stuff. And by the way, we only talk about Stretch because, again, it's the most, let's say, successful launch, but Strife, STRF, is already trading at 97.22, which is even higher than SETA from Strive, which yesterday closed at 96.7, I think. So again, Strife is more senior to Stretch, and it's almost at 100. So my view is when we will see Strife back at 100, it means that the market is start to price in that Bitcoin bottom probably is in. Then now the financial condition might get better for risk on assets and in general, because again, Strife will be the first one to reach 100. Stretch will suffer a bit more because it needs the support of Bitcoin. But I mean, inevitably, it will go back at 100 because, as you said, Fernando, inevitably Bitcoin will go to an all-time high. Me, I stay with my take that will be next year, but who cares if it's December 26, if it's April 27, or even August 27? Who cares? It's inevitable, and again, it's just a matter of be patient. It sucks to see your portfolio down minus 70% if you just went in all in on some equities at the all-time high, but it's market behavior, and Bitcoin will go to 1 million. So what's the point?
let me add one point. We don't have to see Bitcoin at all-time high to see stretch on par again.
Stretch? No, yeah.
That's the point. Of course, if Bitcoin goes back to all-time high, we will see strategy between 300 and 400 or probably more. But we need to remember what we were 2 months ago. Bitcoin was recovering, just had recovered from touching the first 60 bottom this year. And when it was 80, 85K, Stretch was doing records on volume on par. So we don't need to go Bitcoin to go to 100K or a new all-time high. We just need Bitcoin to go back to 75, 80, and all the problems will be resolved. So I think that Saylor, he should do, and sorry if I put football again as a metaphor, he should do like the Spanish team. They have the ball, they pass the ball, they attack, they don't get desperate because they know that they will have one chance. They know their fundamentals, and they will have one chance, and they will make a goal, score a goal. So Saylor needs to think, we have a strong balance sheet. We have Bitcoin. Just we need to wait, keep doing things until Bitcoin price goes up, and again, not going up to 130K, just go up $10,000 more. Something that Bitcoin can do in 1 week. We all know. So,
yeah, maybe I can just do one black pill. Just I was thinking while you were saying about this 3.2 to 5 billion. That's my, I will give like less than 5% chance, but still is on the table. That maybe strategy wants to be over conservative because they really think that the Fed will increase interest rates, that they will be tight on some kind of policies, that the market will puke again. And so maybe it's true that we go by the end of the year at 45. Again, I would put like less than 5% of this. But in case that will be true, the MNAV will for sure compress way below 1, maybe go to 0.85. For 2, 3, 4 months, they won't be, able to raise capital unless of massive dilution that is not on the table. And so he said, yeah, you know what? Let's just go over conservative on this metric. And in case this is a very bad scenario plays out, the company is still fine. But that's why, that's why they justified this massive amount of cash. So that's my black pill scenario.
Probably can happen, but I think this is not. Again, I criticize even the last increase of the capital, the cash pile. But again, I'm not Saylor. I think that Saylor knows more than me.
They know more than us for sure.
I never ran a public traded company, and I didn't manage to get my company 850,000 Bitcoin. So again, this is all what I think, but whatever Saylor does, I think he doesn't do things like with impulse, just thinking and analyzing. He's an engineer, so I trust him.
Even in the case of a new black swan, because we can come up with the hypothesis of 5% chances of a new black swan triggered by anything. It could be the hike of the interest rates. It could be the expansion of the war in Iran. It can be a new scandemic.
Fill in the blank. Yeah.
Or whatever you can come up for a new black swan event. In that scenario, it doesn't matter how much US dollar you will hold in your reserve. Your stock will puke anyways.
I agree.
They will not be safe if they even have 10 billion in the US reserve. It will be a disaster anyway. So it's not. I don't see it as a safe net in case of black swan. I think it's more related to just fulfill the expectations of the institutional investment side to qualify in the ratings for other kind of investment, more than what actually can do for preserving the safetiness of the balance sheet, which is already extremely strong.
safe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Let's see. I'm sure tomorrow Sailor will announce something, and on Monday we'll announce something. But for me, now the best way to deal with all this craziness that the world is living in is stay calm. When Bitcoin goes up, many of the problems will be solved, and we are gonna do to all the haters.
Well, in the last US dollar reserve increase, it was done through the ATM. Wait for it coming. When he do the same, but selling Bitcoin, and a storm on X will pop up about, see, he's selling Bitcoin now. Because the other day they were saying some of the posts that we saw, it's what's happening with strategy. Where is he coming with this money from? Is he secretly selling Bitcoin? So they're expecting for that to come. So hopefully he doesn't give that food right now, because right now we are in the middle of the fire. So you don't have to keep blowing gas on top of it. So hope he doesn't sell any Bitcoin, even if there is a compromise with the dividends. Just pick it up from the reserves, the dollar reserves.
Yeah, I think it shouldn't at this point. I mean, if you have 3.25 billion, again, I understand that it's more for protecting the balance sheet and not necessarily using it. But again, if you have 3.25 billion and you need 150 million, just take it from there. At this point, it doesn't make any sense, in my view, unless you have, again, in their own model, they have 90% chance that we go down. But again, it's still a bet that I wouldn't take because of the market reaction, because of everything. You have more than 3 billion. If you need 70, 100 million dollars, just take it from the cash reserve. That's the purpose. Don't for sure sell any more MSTR at 1. Don't sell Bitcoin at 63. And as Fernando said, just wait the recovery, just wait that the bear market will unfold, and then by the end of the year will be better. So
yeah, and I think that they have to keep the reserve over 12 months, the cash reserve. So now they have 10 months of cash reserve. So again, in 10 months, I'm sure Bitcoin will be much higher than now, for sure. But let's see what happens. So anything else you want to cover? You have anything else?
Let me check, but I don't think so.
If Sailor goes to 5 billion as a cash reserve, it's like, I love Catenaccio, but not so much Catenaccio.
Yeah, Fernando Catenacci is not working anymore in Italy. You see, yesterday we had Maldini and Leonardo, that are the new head of Italian football for the national team. And they said football has changed. We have different style, different pace. So our way of football is obsolete. And so we need to change. So Italy fallen. So
I hate talking about football. I hate the football that is being played now. So, but someone will come and create a new way to play football and revolutionize, because it's. But yeah, I like to, again, what Sailor needs to have to do, and I think that everyone is like, don't be crazy. Try to, of course, this is no financial advice, but try to stack as much Bitcoin as you can, because again, Bitcoin is in this phase that now become boring. It's moving lateral. I think that it's gonna go up.
Yeah, it happens all the time. When it's boring, it's the best moment to
boring. So when Bitcoin is boring, is the time when it's ready to go up in a fast pace. So let's see what happens. So do you have anything else to discuss, Marco?
Maybe, I don't know, guys, if you have 5 more minutes, I wanted to share maybe this post from River. Let me see here. Okay, let me see. Share here. Tell me when you see the screen.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a great post. And I mean, all Bitcoiners knows this very well. But I'm pretty sure if you go on the street and ask some of your friends that are not into Bitcoin and are not maybe into finance, or even that are not into some kind of high inflation countries, they have no idea that currency collapse, how the average fiat currency lifespan is 27 years, and that all the currency and majority of them, like the pound sterling is down 99.7%. The US dollar since 1913 is down 97%. Indian rupee is down since 1870, 99%. The Japanese yen since 1865 is down 99.9%. So again, Bitcoiners know this. And again, it will be an inevitability that the euro will go 99% down, that all the other currencies that are maybe new, they will go down 99% over the course of their life, because that's how the fiat system is designed. So that's why Bitcoin will be inevitably going to 1 million. It's nothing particularly esoteric or complicated. It's just pure math and how the system is designed.
The Argentinian peso is not even in this graphic.
It breaks all the graphic in one shot. If there is
Yes.
something less than 99.9999%,
Periodic.
Hey, I always put the same example. When I left Argentina, I think that was 10 years ago. I think that one Argentinian peso was around, I think that 10 or 14 US dollar. Sorry, $1 US was 10 or 14 Argentinian pesos. Now, $1 US is 1,500.
So I give you for the people of the world another information, which is this: Argentinian peso is such a disaster that in this case you counted like the Indian rupee lost this amount once, the dollar lost that amount once,
in the whole life,
British pound once. Ask me how many Argentinian pesos we had in the last.
All of them collapsed, and all of them collapsed in 99.9. Yeah.
So it's already like 5 times 99.99% collapse.
Because since I was born, I think that we lived through 5 different currencies. I think it was peso ley, peso moneda nacional. Then they changed to austral, that lived for 4 years only. Then they changed to the peso, convertible peso, that was backed by US dollar, and that was the main proof that if you put a cheap currency backed by a hard money, there is no inflation, because during the 90s, the Central Bank of Argentina was able to print as much pesos as dollars had in their vault. So they couldn't print as much pesos as they want. Then in 2001, they changed their rule. They created the peso non-convertible that was like Bretton Woods, and they destroyed the currency. So
regarding the US dollar, also, right now we have the term stable coin, right? And the only thing that is stable about the dollar is that it's steadily losing 8% per year through money investment.
Yeah.
So there you go. Your most stable out of all that list.
Yeah.
We all know that the dollar is the only one that will survive, maybe.
Yeah, of course, the dollar is the only one who will survive. But again, in Argentina, even though if you tell this in countries with high inflation like Argentina, they don't think about Bitcoin. They think about US dollars. People in Argentina think that US dollar is is safe. And I used to think that. So
yeah, because you heard story from your parents, from your grandparents, how they react, etc. But again, in 2026, the world changed. So hopefully the new generation of Argentinian, of Turkish people, of many great people and from many countries, now they will shift and see that the new way of protecting themselves is no longer necessarily real estate or US dollars, but is this Bitcoin thing, this internet money thing. So I think the future is bright and we have a lot of upside potential. But again, in the medium term or even the day-to-day basis, it seems like an Armageddon. We are going to be destroyed by AI. Everybody's going to be in civil war, etc. I think at some point it will be better, especially if you are in the orange team. And so, yeah, that's the point to end on my side.
We have another saying. It's just from the movie Moneyball. It's adapt or die.
Adapt or die.
Moneyball. Movie. Yeah, Moneyball.
That's the point. Well, Marco, thank you very much for being with us today. I think that next Saturday we need to switch to another day because we are going to be traveling on Saturday.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah.
But let's see, we talk in the week. But for all the people who is watching, how can they find you in social media?
Yeah, if they want to find me, it's on X at Batistoshi93. So feel free to DM me or to follow me.
Excellent, Marco. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you very
Thank
much
you, guys.
on the other side. If you like the episode, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, follow us on social media, follow Marco on social media, because doing so, you help us a lot on painting the world orange. See you in the next episode. Stay humble, stack sats, and remember, we are all Satoshi.
Bye, guys.
See you.
Bye-bye.